What's going on, everybody? How are you? Thanks for joining us. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. Today is October the 27th. Excuse me. Wow, I looked at the time. Today is December 2nd, 2025. I'm tripping. December 2nd, 2025. I'm GB. Brian and Coop with me. What's going on, guys?
What's up,
What's going
fellas?
on?
And we back at it, man. Fresh off the holiday, had a good time out in Southern Cal. Just got back home maybe 30 minutes ago. So we're getting to it. And let's do it, man. So today let's talk some NBA quick hitters. I just want to get the guys' thoughts on the season currently. If there's anything that's they've been paying attention to, surprising them, whatever the case may be. Talk about Lane Kiffin and his job switching, and then we'll go NFL scores from this past week as well as NFL predictions for the next week. So let's start with the NBA quick hitters. I bring this up. I know I've been saying every show, like, oh, NBA is underway, but we really haven't dove in, just kind of keeping everything under an hour show wise. And also, NBA season is very long. However, while down there with Brian and the family, watched a bunch of NBA games, watched a triple header. That was great. Watched a couple Laker games, a couple good ones, one very bad one last night. They've been seeing what the Pistons have been doing, being, at the bottom of the barrel a couple years ago to being, dang near undefeated right now in the East. So just wondering if you guys have been paying attention to anything, if there's anything you like or seeing, or, you're not into it yet until we get to All Star.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
B.
I've been watching a game occasionally, but I think this past week while you were out here, we were watching a lot more games. In part just because it was something to have on while we were doing other things, playing golf or whatever. But anyways, yeah, like you, I'm also really impressed with the Detroit Pistons. All right, I didn't recognize that they were the top team in the East the first time we watched them. They were talking
Hmm.
to Cade Cunningham, and I knew that he was having a season.
He's balling.
And but then you watch the game, and that boy can flat out just play. Um, it is an interesting team to look at, right? You got a player with 12 rebounds and Jalen Duren. You got Cade, who's leading in most of the other categories, and they just look cohesive. It's been a really really long time since I've seen them look cohesive. As a matter of fact, and this is also the first time since Tom Gore's owned the team.
Mm.
I used to work with his brother or for his brother many moons ago, and so I've always kind of passively followed the team, and they've always just stunk. So to kind of see them get to this point. On the other side of the coin, uh, I liked seeing the Lakers play meaningful games early in the season. They were undefeated for the NBA Cup. Um, they've been playing well. They're the second best in the West.
Yeah. Yes,
Um,
sir.
but when I saw the game with you last night and
Yeah.
watched that performance from the second quarter on, I'm reminded that while the team is performing well, they're the same Lakers who think that they can turn it on whenever they want, get behind the eight ball because they're like, oh, I'll play a good first quarter. Now I don't have to do anything until the third or fourth quarter. I'm going to coast, get leads, can't scrape back, and lose games. And I'm also reminded why I don't like Luca. I know there's a whole bunch of people who are like, this kid's out here scoring 40 point, how you blah, blah, blah. In that game last night, he quit. And I pointed it out to you a few different times, Glenn, where there were times where he
Yeah.
made a bad pass and it got picked off, or he got the ball stolen from him, and he did not move from that spot. He would whine, he would complain, everything. It was all 100% him, and there was no dog in him. Now he's a great performer, and he's able to score a lot of points, and he's uber talented and all that kind of stuff. But there's no dog in that guy. And when you get to try and get into a deep playoff run, dogs win championships, and he doesn't got that in him. The other thing I'm surprised, last thing before I let Jason go, is
What's
the
my name?
Clippers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's his name? The Clippers are horrible. Um, they are so abysmally bad, and that's after a preseason and all these prognosticators uh, were talking about how they were supposed to be great this season, and they are abysmal. Um,
It's
it is
great.
hard to watch them and can call them playing professional basketball.
Thought you might enjoy that part of it.
Funny. I'll
I'm
start.
just
Oh, go
surprised
ahead.
by it. I didn't expect him to be this bad. I always expect him to suck, but
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I'll start with the Lakers. The Lakers, yeah, I like watching them win as well, but I just think they have just too many guys that are bad defensively, including Austin Reeves, Ayton, Luca. They all need the ball, and LeBron, Luca, and Reeves, since they all need the ball, the team is not really constructed right. They have too much duplication. They all need the ball, and they can't defend. When you can't defend like the Lakers and not good at really shooting, that's not a recipe for a deep playoff run. Though I am enjoying them winning regular season games, but this team really needs a ball distributor and defenders. And like Brian, I don't know if Brian actually said this. I don't think you actually said this, but I just don't think the Lakers can win a title with Luca. He just talks to the referees too much after every single play. It's annoying. And he also comes down court too much and just jacks up shots. He doesn't run any offense. And I don't like that. If you're gonna be the point guard or play point guard, you got to get the others guys involved instead of looking for your shot most of the time. I think that just brings disinterest in the other teammates. Um, I noticed the Philadelphia 76ers now, they're a perimeter oriented team, as they should be. They got Tyrone Maxey and I think some guy named Edgecombe. I forget his first name, but they have a really good backcourt. So Philly, the 76ers, I see they finally have enough sense not to build around Joel Embiid. They're pretty much perimeter oriented. So I'm not saying they're going to go on a deep playoff run, but that's better because he's always Embiid's always hurt and pretty much not really a team guy, he's really a me guy. The other things I've noticed, the defense, these scores are still very, very high. Nobody's playing defense this time of year. See people all the time, every day. Somebody scoring 140, 130, 150. I think somebody was saying this is the second worst defensive start in NBA history. And it would surprise me if it continues like this because I just think defense is just optional. Everybody's getting their shots off. Like you guys, I'm kind of impressed by Detroit. They are balling this year. Boston is really struggling to get wins. I'm not sure if it's because of Tatum and Porzingis or just Tatum or what. I don't really know what's wrong with Boston, but I know they're struggling to get wins. They're 12-9, but they don't look so good. Neither does Milwaukee. Milwaukee doesn't look good as well. Indiana, of course, is struggling without Halliburton.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that Miami's not playing any defense this year. They're all offensive. I mean, they're scoring games. They have games where they're scoring 130, 140 pretty much, almost every game. I mean, they are just completely all in on offense. They're actually more fun to watch than they've ever been, but they don't play any defense. Houston, they have a really tall team. I think their average height, maybe for starters, is maybe 6'9" or something like that. They are absolutely very, 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 very tall. I think they have like three or four people that are like 6'10", 6'11" that are starting. But I noticed that. San Antonio looks like Greg Popovich might actually have a winning season because he's been losing for years since Tim Duncan is gone
I
there.
thought Greg was gone, bro.
yeah, I think he's
He
done.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, oh, that shows you.
Health
Oh,
issues, bro. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, no wonder they're winning
Yeah. He's
games
still
then.
with us,
Okay.
but yeah, I think it was getting bad.
Okay,
But
because
yeah,
I
go
know they
ahead.
were 14-6. I didn't really watch them. And then Oklahoma City, they're still killing. They never lose. I think they're 20-1 right now. They're beating the Warriors right now, and I think they're going to win that one. They are trying to prove to everybody that they weren't flukes, which is good. They're playing every game hard. Other than that, I really don't have anything else to say. I think Golden State fans think they're going to win a title or they have a chance. I think they're delusional. That team is old. They don't defend very well, and they're always hurt. Curry is still out, and I know Butler is still nursing some injuries as well. But as far as the NBA, that's pretty much. I'll just summarize it right there.
All right. Word. I actually, y'all had good points. That's great. So yes, people ask, and I appreciate everybody who watches and checks this out, um, and ask, people ask who haven't seen the show, like, do you guys talk about all sports? What sports do you talk about? We watch everything, but we don't always talk about everything, kind of just based off time frame and what's going on in sports. So, cool. Thanks, guys. So sliding from that, another big story we saw in the news: Lane Kiffin goes from Ole Miss to LSU. It was all over the screens. Said he didn't do it for the money. He doesn't know what
Ah,
the didn't know what the money is. LSU's the best job in football. Wants to get him back to winning championships. So he has had a good run at Ole Miss from what I'm gonna keep it real. I don't watch a ton of
yeah.
college, so from what I understand, and now he moves to LSU. How do you guys think that changes the landscape? What do you think the impacts are?
Well, I mean, his
For,
fake tears. Oh, my,
well,
my
for
bad. Go
one,
ahead,
no,
B.
one thing I'll add is today they released the most recent college polls and the not the polls but the playoffs, and Ole Miss moved to sixth.
Yeah, and he gets
That's
paid if they do anything for the rest of the season too,
yep. Whether he
based on his
whether he
I mean,
contract.
coaches them or not.
Yep.
Anyway, go
look,
ahead, Jason.
Yeah.
it's the right move. It was the right move. I mean, Ole Miss, he made Ole Miss relevant. The only reason Ole Miss was relevant before is when Hugh Freeze was there, when he was caught cheating, paying players before NIL was
Mm.
even, in existence. He was, I mean, everybody was doing it. He just got caught. And so that's why people like Nick Saban, everybody did not recruit in Alabama because he was just paying everybody anyway. Other than that, Mississippi has never been relevant. So all these people that are mad at Lane Kiffin, I mean, he's a ladder climber. I mean, I don't understand anybody who thought he was going to be there forever. It's Ole Miss. Nobody wants to be in Mississippi forever. He got them relevant. They have the number one offense in football. They made the playoffs. I mean, if you would have told them 4 years ago you're going to make the playoffs and have number one offense in college football and you will be relevant, everybody would have signed up for that. So I don't know why people are blaming Lane Kiffin for going to LSU. It's a better job, and he can probably actually get a defense that could win a national championship because Ole Miss's defense sucks. They have a good offense, but they don't have defense, so they're not winning a national championship whether he was coaching there or not. But this is college football now. I mean, because of NIL and everybody wanted everybody to get paid and all this other type of stuff. Now coaches are being recruited while they have jobs. In the NFL, you can't do that. Now, I mean, Kalen DeBoer coaches Alabama, and they made it known. Penn State's made it known that's who they want. They're negotiating with coaches while they have jobs. So this is the landscape of college football. This is what everybody wanted with NIL. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining when these coaches jump ship and bounce to other schools, especially when you got people like Brian Kelly making $54 million from LSU not to coach. They told him to go away. So it's just a lot of money out there. Lane Kiffin took a better job, and I'm not mad at him. I hope he has success in LSU. I don't have nothing against Lane Kiffin. What about you, B?
I mean, I think Lane Kiffin's a good coach for sure, and I think he made the right decision for him, his family, and all the other things. But I don't know if I get too altruistic on his intents because there's no darn way he didn't know that he was making $12 million
Of
a year
course.
for 7 years.
Of course.
7 years, and
Right.
he said he had 4 deals on, and he was, he had his agent compare the deals and everything else. The one thing that I know changed this was the NIL money, right? I mean, that's FU money, and as far as college goes, they've got $25 million a year to pay the players. What I find very interesting, you mentioned it, Ole Miss has no defense. LSU had already gotten the number one recruit in the country, a defensive end, to commit verbally to LSU. Today he withdrew. Today the day after they announced that Lane's coming, he pulled his name out and said, "I'm going to wait to sign because tomorrow's early signing until after he assembles his team." That's a very interesting decision to make. I'm sure it's good for the kid because ultimately you want to make sure you know who your coach is before you sign on the dotted line. But it's an interesting decision to come right after. And as you mentioned, Ole Miss not having a history of caring much about the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, $25 million to young folks goes a long way if you manage it right. If you give it all to one player.
Right.
If you give it all to one player or 2 players or 5 players when you need 20 players, yes, I know that there's more than that in the field, but you don't need all of them to be great. Then it can be very interesting. It's weird to watch someone leave a top 10 team to go to a team that's kind of in a rebuilding project, but I absolutely agree. Follow the money. One thing I will disagree with. LSU is not the best job in football. Let's just be real damn clear. Like, it's not the best. There's, LSU is a great place, and I think it's a much better city. Like, if someone says, "Hey, you want to live in Louisiana or you want to live in Mississippi?" It's not that hard to figure that answer out. If you want to live anywhere or you want to live in Mississippi, it's still not that hard to figure it out. But there are other places in bigger cities and in better situations. But LSU is one of the best combinations of lots of booster money and a relevant position in the game.
Well, okay. So first of all, Lane wanted the Oregon job when Marvel Cristobal went to Miami. They wouldn't even interview him because he had a little bad reputation. That's why he did that E60 thing and had that documentary on himself to show that he's just this great person now, stop drinking and stuff like that. So he didn't really have a lot of options. He had Florida.
That's not what Brian was saying. He said he looked like he'd been perking a little bit, but go ahead.
He had Florida, LSU, and Mississippi. I don't know what other jobs he would, maybe Penn State. But I mean, out of those 4 jobs, Brian, I agree. LSU is not the best, but I think out of those 4 jobs that were available, it seems like LSU was the best one of his choice, unless you know of another one that's available.
No, the ones that were available, I think he took the right choice. But he said it was
Okay.
the best job in the country.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah,
That's a
and
damn lie.
yeah, right. I mean, from a job perspective, Oregon, where Phil Knight is like, I will
Yeah.
spend any amount of money to win one more before I pass.
Right.
They can outspend. They have a program. They have the better facilities. And if you're comparing Baton Rouge to Oregon, Eugene,
Yeah.
I think Eugene's probably better than Baton Rouge. It's not better than New Orleans, but that's not where they're at.
Right. Right.
So, anyways, I think there's others.
Yep.
Word. Good combo. Yeah, it was interesting to see it was all over the day news. That's always we were seeing. So sliding from
Well,
that, man.
because Glenn, they gave him an ultimatum. He had to make a decision by the Egg Bowl, which was on
Yeah.
Saturday. That's why. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
I was
Yeah.
saying that it's a big deal. So that's kind of one of the big stories right now in college sports. As more things like that pop up, we'll of course bring them into the show and talk about them. But wanted to definitely kick that around for a minute. So thanks guys on that. Let's slide to the league, to the NFL. Going from last week's games as we ended the week with Monday night Patriots Giants game, which was interesting. So we'll get to that. But starting out with the Thursday Thanksgiving games, Packers and Lions. Packers win 31-24 over the Lions. What was y'all's take on that game?
Go ahead, B.
Love did his thing, man. I mean, I know that we go back and forth on whether or not he earned the money, but he earned it that day. 4 touchdowns is impressive in any game, but this was a big game on a big day, and he answered the moment. I don't think either of these teams play horrible, and I don't think the Lions are done. I think Lions fans are a little bit overreacting to the loss. They're like, "Oh, the season's over. We're horrible." Blah blah
Understandably.
blah. I get it when you got used to these last 2 seasons
Oh.
where these types of wins came easily. You got to fight for it a little bit more. The coaching situation is significantly different. I think that's been very impactful for them. But congratulations to the Packers. I think they played a great game.
Cool.
Yeah. Look, I had to switch my pick to Green Bay in this game due to everything I said about Detroit last week, because something is off offensively and defensively. Defensively, they're just getting torched by every quarterback and wide receiver they play. They used to be good on third down, they're not anymore. They're 19th. Used to be good on fourth down, they're not. They're 18th. Same players, new play caller. So, and also this team, Detroit, they're 1-5 this season when they don't score 30 points. So they're not really as scary as they used to be. I know people are saying this was a coming out party for Jordan Love, but Green Bay beat Detroit earlier this season. They beat them 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. Green Bay always plays Detroit close, and Jordan Love pretty much plays well against Detroit almost every time because Detroit always loses on Thanksgiving. They're 2-8 their last 10 Thanksgiving games, so it's really not a surprise. It's almost a guaranteed loss for Detroit when they play. And at this point in the season, Green Bay's just a better team than Detroit. Detroit has issues, and Green Bay should win the division. They're just better, and they won. It was a good win for them.
Mm. Man, next game, Chiefs and Cowboys. Cowboys win 31-28 and get the Chiefs. What y'all thought about that one?
Man, look, no one wanted to hire Brian Schottenheimer as offense coordinator or head coach. Like nobody in the NFL was interviewing him. But he's proven he knows offense. There was not one point in this game when Dallas took a lead that I thought that Kansas City was going to win. Dallas offense is just productive, man. They got the quarterback's productive, the receivers are productive. Running backs Javante Williams and Malik Davis, they're productive. The tight end is productive. Pickens kept killing the Chiefs on slants, 4 of them for
Yeah.
75 yards. And a slant is not supposed to go for more than eight, they're supposed to go for less than 8 yards, and he was killing them. If you would have told me, if anybody would have told me that after Thanksgiving Day, the Kansas City Chiefs and Dallas Cowboys have the same number of wins, I would have given you good odds on that. But that's the case. I mean, Dallas is 6-5-1, and KC is 6-6. And Kansas City's problem, people ask me what the problem. I said, I'll talk about on the podcast. Well, here's Kansas City's problem. The defense can't get off the field. They don't get stops on third and long. I think the effects of paying the quarterback so much money has affected their roster. The Cowboys were in third and 8 or longer 6 times in this game, and Dallas converted a first down every single time. Kansas City has the fourth worst third and long defense. They forced the fourth fewest turnovers, and they have the sixth fewest sacks. The defense just can't get off the field, and that's the difference between this Kansas City team and the prior Kansas City teams. They used to be money on third down, and now they just can't get off the field. And Dallas took full advantage, so it's a good win for them. What you think about the game, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said, and I will say this: Mahomes looked better than he's looked, and that's a couple weeks in a row that he's starting to kind of go on an upward tick. But the team just seems disjointed. I am not sure that they can get it back in line in time to make the playoffs. Historically, there's always the Super Bowl loser kind of fall off. And I don't think any of us thought that it would happen with the Chiefs, but they were the loser last year, and they're kind of keeping that trend alive this year. I think they're going to have to reform. I don't think it's the end of Patrick Mahomes as a Super Bowl winning or competing quarterback, but I do think that you're not going to be able to do it. I like Hunt, but if he's your main weapon on offense, not named in the quarterback, that's a problem, right? Rashi Rice, Xavier Worthy, those guys are good number two guys on a good team, but they're not the number one guy. Meanwhile, Dallas had two of those in Lamb and Pickens. But yeah, congratulations. I'll keep it short. Dallas played harder. They deserved to win this game. This wasn't a fluke. And the Chiefs have some things to figure out.
Definitely. Next game, Bengals Ravens. Bengals win 32-14. What's going on with the Ravens?
What's going on with the Ravens, Brian?
They're not very good. I mean, we talked about this last week. Lamar Jackson is hurt. There's just no doubt in my mind. 6 rushes for 27 yards. What's that? 3-4 yards carry. This is not the same Lamar Jackson who's been winning MVPs and leading the team and rushing. There's something wrong there. I hope they figure it out, but it's not this season. Meanwhile, the Cincinnati Bengals get Joe Burrow back and almost instantaneously look like a real football team again. They had 128 yards rushing. They had, Jamar Chase is energized again. I know Justin Jefferson is sitting there looking across the way going, see, I just need one of those. But I think that they might be able to do something next year. They're not going to get in the playoffs this year. It's too late. But I do think that if they can keep Joe Burrow healthy, that this might be a real team. Until then, it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Yeah, Lamar dropped back 38 times this game. He had opportunities, but he couldn't get it done. If you drop him back 38 times, Lamar Jackson, I don't know if that's a winning recipe. Derrick Henry only had 10 carries in this game.
10 carries.
But Lamar definitely does not look like himself. He looks actually slow. He went 17 for 32 with an interception, but he actually looks slow too. On the other side, Joe Burrow. Yeah, right. Well, a hamstring, a few things. And then Joe Burrow on the other side, he's not healthy either. He might be a little more healthy than Lamar Jackson. I know he's hurt because during the game against Baltimore, he kept taking his shoe off when the defense was on the field because the shoe doesn't feel good on his foot. And if he takes it off, it kind of limits the pain of his turf toe because he still has that. So looks like Joe Burrow was a little more healthy, so he played a little better than Lamar Jackson. But I guess it was a good win for Cincinnati. But both of these teams are pretty much probably done for this year.
Fair enough. Next game, man. Bears and Eagles. Bears get another win. One of the top record, I believe, in the NFC. The Bears win 24-15. Coop, you start going.
I watched this game, man. Ben Johnson is the Midwest version of Kyle Shanahan. He will run the ball. The Bears ran 47 times, 150 rushing yards in the first half, 281 rushing yards for the game. 28 first downs to Philadelphia's 14. Caleb Williams had a nice touchdown pass to Cole Kmet, but I know who he reminds me of now. I kept thinking who's he remind me of. He reminds me of Donovan McNabb. He plays for a good offensive coach, but he's not an accurate passer. Caleb Williams was 17 for 36, which is under 50% completion percentage. Had a touchdown, a bad interception that put the Eagles in the red zone. But the thing is, he has a completion percentage on the season of 58%. So it's crazy to think that you have an inaccurate quarterback, but they have the best record in NFC. They're 9-3. I checked the last time a quarterback ranked in the bottom 5 in NFL completion percentage and earned the number 1 seed. It was Rex Grossman of the Bears, and they went to the Super Bowl that year.
Sure did.
But and on the flip side of the Eagles, like I said, I do not care what Jalen Hurts' stats are. I watch the games, and he ain't playing well. When a play needs to be made or a pass needs to be made, he can't make it. During this game, one of the announcers said the average third down distance for the Eagles this year is 3rd and 8. So now I see why they lead the league in 3-and-outs. Because if your quarterback can't get first downs, I don't give a damn what your stats are. For the Eagles, man, unfortunately, their pass game is very simple, and Jalen's not a gifted passer. There's guys open, but he's only looking on one side. And so the reason why Philly wins is because they're able to run the ball and they got high end athletes at premium positions, but they have to run and they can't run. When you are Jalen Hurts dependent, that's not good. I personally, I did not see. I know Brian picked the Bears. I think to cover the spread, I thought they were going to get blown out. So this is really surprising. But finally, Brian, before I let you go, when I watched this game, it made me think that Nick Sirianni, their head coach of the Eagles, he's pretty much useless. I think if they have a good offensive coordinator and a
That's
good
yeah.
defense coordinator, Philly is good. And when they don't, they're not good. I just think Sirianni is he can't fix anything when something goes wrong. I just think he's completely useless and coordinator dependent. That's what I was thinking watching the game. But what did you think about it?
So I didn't watch the game. We were out playing golf at the time, but I was incredibly impressed when I was watching the things pop up to watch Kyle Benangi just keep on racking in these big games. I was one of these guys who picked him up kind of early in the season, so I have him on a few teams and whatnot. So I've been rooting for him. Usually, when you see DeAndre Swift getting carries and getting that many yards, you don't think there's enough to go around. So again, the coach, as you mentioned, did an outstanding job of protecting his young quarterback, who is inaccurate and not the difference on a winning team, by running the ball nonstop and saying, "Hey, we're going to keep on going this direction, this direction, this running back, this running back. We're going to keep on bringing him in, bringing him out. You can know what we're going to do, and let's see you stop it." And for as lethal as the tush push was, this running attack by Chicago was more effective and more useful, and that's why they got the win.
Definitely. Next game, man. Saints and Dolphins. Coop, you bet, man. They trying to claw it at that bet
Yo,
you got out.
man. Yeah, I got
21-17. Dolphins win.
yeah, I got no comment. Go ahead, Brian. Got no comment.
Hey, well, okay. I'm curious because they got the Jets and the Steelers coming up. It's going to be a tight finish.
Yes.
You need Joe Burrow to do Joe Burrow type things. Anyways,
Yeah.
not much to say here. We had this game on, but we weren't paying super close
No.
attention to it. It's not one of those games that was a big deal to us in any way, shape, or form. It was interesting because there were certain games that we were paying attention to or not paying attention to. And some of the games that we thought would be boring, two bad teams with bad records, became the more interesting watches of the day, because while they didn't have the records, they did have the competition. Those games can be equally interesting to watch. The only thing that I track on either of these two teams is Devon Achane, and he had another big game with 22 carries for 133 yards and 6 yards to carry. That dude is an absolute beast.
It is. Uh, this game was good. Texans Colts, man. Texans get a big win, 20-16 over the Colts, right at the right time when they needed to do it. Colts lost a few. Texans are winning a few. What do you guys think about that game?
Defense
Houston.
of the
Yeah.
Texans was just awesome. And if you look at the stat lines for the Indianapolis Colts, none of them are bad. They're just not good either. They're not great. They're not going to jump out at you. 201 yards, totally respectable for 27 dropbacks and 2 touchdowns. That's all fine. Jonathan Taylor, 85 yards. That's fine. But it's not enough you have to have not dynamic enough to get you big wins. Meanwhile, CJ Stroud, 276 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. So that what this tells me is it's all about the defense. And the Texans defense, which I think is now the top-rated defense in the NFL, showed up, showed out, and beat what I think is a really good Indianapolis Colts team.
Houston has held 10 opponents this season to 20 points or less. 10. That is really good in this day and age of football. That defense is really, really good. Well, this is all I've got from Indianapolis is this is how bad Anthony Richardson is. The Colts would rather play Daniel Jones, who has a fractured fibula. So basically, he has one leg. They rather play Daniel Jones on one leg than a healthy Anthony Richardson. So I had to pick Houston this game when I found that out. So that's all I got to say about the game. Brian, you summed it up.
Definitely. Next game, man. This is what Brian was alluding to earlier. I think the two lesser teams, but end up being a good game. Falcons and Jets. Jets win by 3, 27-24.
Let me go first on
Thoughts?
You want
this.
to go ahead?
I I have 6 TVs in my game room, and there were 7 games on, and I had to pick one to get rid of, not put on there, and it was this one. And about maybe a little past halftime, Glenn's like, "You need to put that game on. Get rid of this one over here or something else, and put this game on." Sometimes again, you can have two teams that you expect nothing from that are needles at one going towards zero, and they can have a really entertaining game. And this was that. Uh, I don't think anybody woke up that morning going, "It's Tyrod Taylor versus Kirk Cousins. This is going to be awesome." Uh, but this was a pretty entertaining game. I don't want to get into all the stats and everything else. Just know that the Jets winning another game probably is pissing off their front office, and that makes me happy. Go on, Jason.
I turned this game on late.
Same
Like
here.
most of America, I wasn't watching. But when I did turn on late, I said, this is why bad teams are bad. The Jets in the fourth quarter, I don't know if you saw this, they were in field goal range in the tie game, 12 seconds left, in position to make a makeable field goal, and they false start. And so the game ends up going into OT because now they're out of their kicker's
Mm,
range. The Jets, they have a defense. I didn't know this. The Jets have a defensive coach, and they've only forced 2 turnovers all season. I didn't know that. One in London against the Broncos and one in the United States against Atlanta on Sunday. I did not know that. You're not going to win many games. You can't force turnovers, but that's all I got to say.
they're playing hard. Next game,
They are.
49ers Browns. Coop, what you think? 26-8. The Niners
Yeah.
win easily.
Yeah, I had to watch this entire game, man. They got their first win in Cleveland since 1984. Look, I've been saying all
What?
year the Browns. It's for yeah, first win in Cleveland
That's
since
crazy.
1984. They always lose there. Been saying all year the Browns are a different team at home. You can't run on them. Green Bay couldn't, Baltimore couldn't, and they got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. But it was easy to see early in the game why defense coordinator Jim Schwartz of Cleveland has an 8-1 record coming into the game against Kyle Shanahan when he's either the defense coordinator or head coach because he just shut down Shanahan's run game. Like he knows where every runner is going. Midway through the second quarter, the 49ers only averaged 1.9 yards a carry.
Wow.
Shanahan finally decided to pass the last 2 minutes of the game, and it was successful. On defense, I've been saying the 49ers have only one legitimate starter and a bunch of XFL and UFL and practice squad guys who are not good. They wouldn't start for any team in the NFL. Everybody knew coming into this game that the Browns would run as much as possible. In the first half, the Browns had 138 yards rushing on 31 attempts. 49ers had 15 missed tackles and gave up 126 yards after contact. So the only time the defense really looks good for the 49ers is when the other team makes mistakes. And
Mm,
speaking of mistakes, Browns did their thing. They went for it on 4th and 1 from their own 30, and they didn't get it in the middle of the third quarter. They caught a punt on the 6 yard line and went out of bounds. They also muffed a punt on the 18-yard line. And then my favorite is when Shador on 4th and 26 ran for 5 yards and slid 21 yards away from the first down. So he's kind of fitting in Cleveland as well. On offense for the 49ers, they wouldn't have won without Brock Purdy. I don't care about stats. This was the best game that he's played all season. He ran to avoid sacks. He threw the ball away to save field position. He completed more than a few third and longs because the 49ers couldn't run the ball. All game, the 49ers ran 33 times for 2.8 yards a carry. The 49ers still went 11 for 17 on third down. Brock Purdy was 6 for 8 when it was third and long. So he was doing his thing. He constantly bailed out the offense. I didn't have to worry about Purdy throwing downfield like last week because the defensive line busted through the 49ers offensive
yeah.
line all game. Uh,
Yeah.
Miles Garrett said in the post-game interview, he thought he had opportunities to sack Brock Purdy, but he got the ball out quick. He avoided the rush pretty well, and it just made me think if Mac Jones would have played, Cleveland would have had about 10 sacks because he can't move. But overall, this was just a good organizational win. It was a good organization against a bad organization. I mean, 49ers were last in NFL in sacks and came into the season with the most dead cap money of any team in the NFL. I still don't see how they're 9-4. And Cleveland is just an embarrassment. They remind me of the Clippers. They're just embarrassing. They shouldn't be this bad every year, but they are. But that was my takeaway from the game.
B?
I don't know if y'all watched it.
Has
Yeah, we
anyone
know we
ever
did.
seen someone go 1 for 1 on a quarterback going 1 for 1 for 0 yards? It's very interesting. Got the completion, but 0 yards. Dylan Gabriel, that's his stat line for the game. Um, the only thing that's worth noting here is and that's because I'm not going to let it go. Shedeur Sanders is objectively horrible. We watched this game. He plays ugly. I understand that he's got 149 yards and one touchdown, but the QBR is created to get rid of the fact that there's these bright spots. If you threw a 3-yard pass and they run it for 70 yards, get it for a touchdown, you threw a 3-yard pass and you get credit and evaluated in that way. Keyshawn Judkins, what was it? Jerry Jeudy, and these other dudes who are super lightning fast were stretching out his dump offs that were consistent. All he did the entire game was throw no more than 2 to 3 yards down the field, and then enjoy the fruits of everybody else's labor. The kid don't got it.
What y'all think about Juwan Jennings? Cool.
Go
Oh
ahead.
man. Well, obviously, if all these players are saying something, it must be something if he's doing it. But he's saying that he's talking. I know that one guy was pissed off, and they stuff. I'm surprised nobody knocked him out. I mean, I don't agree if he's being dirty. If he's saying stuff, he's probably saying stuff. I think that's crossing the line.
That's
I
what
don't
they're
have a
sounding like.
problem
They're
with other.
saying he's saying
Yeah,
personal
I don't
things
have a
about people's families or
right,
something is what
right.
they're saying.
But here's the thing: is Kevin Garnett did that all the time. I mean, Tim Duncan's mom died. He said Happy Mother's Day to Tim Duncan, knowing that his mom died. So I mean, I guess to me that's just part of the game. But I guess players are taking. I guess football's different, and players are taking offense. So I'm not saying I condone it,
Oh,
but
you
I
couldn't
just
do
thought
that in
that was always
basketball
part of the
anymore
game.
either. That's a
No,
different
well,
era.
yeah, but yeah. I'm not saying I condone it. It's just crazy. I don't think everybody's lying, but
Yeah.
that's not cool. Not cool. What you think, B?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different era. I completely agree with you on KG. Quite honestly, I thought he crossed a whole bunch of lines even then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But there
yeah,
was a lot more tolerance, especially from top players in the league, to do that. It's not a coincidence that the best trash talkers in NBA history, by example, are also the best players in NBA history because you can get away with a whole lot when you're super
yeah.
good. But I don't know what he said, so I can't determine whether or not it was way over the line or just a little bit over the line or on the line or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But
Right.
I know that if you get that kind of reaction from multiple players on multiple weeks, it's not because nothing is happening.
Right.
And there's going to be someone who's going into the next game with the 49ers saying, I wish he would. It,
Right.
it's gonna happen.
Right.
This is
Right.
they circle it. They're like, oh, he's gonna say something about me, and that's cool. It's gonna be another Cleveland Brown team where someone losing 4 games is not gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, fair enough. So this game ended up being a really good one, man. Panthers are playing really good at home. Have had some good ones. Panthers beat the Rams 28-31. Coop, I know you had to love that.
Oh yeah, I did. Well, B, you go ahead and start this one.
So this was the game that we actually had sound on. We're paying really close attention to. And I think 4 or 5 times, Glenn and I looked at each other and said, that was a really nice pass by Bryce Young. And he put him on the spot. It was, he only, 20 passes, 3 touchdowns, 206 yards. But some of these passes needed to be pinpoint accurate to catch the person in stride and get these big plays. And almost every time he did that, there was one where I thought he was a little bit off. But for the most part, he was hitting the spot. That's not to say he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. That's not to say anything else. But he has got undeniable talent. The difference between having had to watch Shedeur Sanders and having to watch Bryce Young is Bryce has not shown the success that people were kind of expecting him to. But I see the talent, and I know why he's in the NFL, and I know why people are trying to be patient with him, and I know why he'll get more and more opportunities. And in contrast, I don't think others will. The other thing I will say is, and I know the Rams fans are probably hyperventilating or whatever, the Rams played as bad as they can as a team this year. They are super good. But you had 3 turnovers from somebody who hadn't had a turnover in 10 games, and he had 3 turnovers, 1 fumble, 2 interceptions. The running game wasn't necessarily hitting the way that they wanted. There were drops. Devontae Adams, short-armed one and still got 2 touchdowns. Everything that could go wrong for the Rams went wrong. This was as bad as they could play, and they only lost by 3 points. The Rams are still a very, very, very good team. I would not lose any confidence on this. They will not have many games like this. Stafford will not have many games like this. And I think Carolina really enjoyed the fact that the Rams are an indoor team and they had to
Yep,
play in weird weather for them.
definitely.
Yeah. Bryce Young had a really good 4th and 3 throw through as well. But like I said, Monday night, Carolina was overwhelmed. They're used to playing Sundays at 10 a.m. Well, they were playing Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so they were in their comfort zone. To beat the Rams, you got to do three things. You got to force the offense to make mistakes. Like you said, Stafford had a couple of interceptions, including that pick six and a fumble. Second, you got to do your best to somewhat limit Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams. And then lastly, you have to neutralize that Rams defensive line. You got to block them because I've been saying all season the Rams secondary is not good. To me, they're a good team, but not a really good team because their secondary is bad. They've lost to Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, and Bryce Young. These aren't this ain't a murderer's row of quarterbacks. These ain't even first, second, third, fifth, 10th team all pro quarterbacks. These are just regular quarterbacks. And like you said, Bryce Young was 15 to 20, but also Chuba Hubbard and Rika Dowdle. They both had 35 carries for 160 yards. So that offense was humming, but that pass game is really what got them going. And good win from Carolina. But like you said, the Rams are still the Rams. They're still going to be tough to beat, and they're probably the best team right now, still in the NFC, in mine and your opinion. So I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Definitely. And if for anybody who didn't see it, look up the Puka Nakua catch that he had, the one-hander
Oh yeah,
dive in
Bananas.
yeah.
with
Catch
the
of the year
defender
candidate.
on him.
Yes,
Yeah, it was. That was crazy. If you
yes,
haven't seen it, look that up for
yes,
sure.
yes.
Next game, I don't. We'll see what y'all have for this. Jaguars beat the Titans 25-3.
Yeah, I heard
The
that.
only thing I have is the only team to never play on Thanksgiving is Jacksonville. I did not know that. That's the
Okay.
only thing I have.
Well,
Didn't
here,
know that.
Cardinals Buccaneers. Buccaneers win 20-17, which is surprising because they were up on them a lot, and the Cardinals clawed back. Any thoughts on that game?
I have nothing.
No, but I will say it is interesting how much better Tampa Bay gets in a heartbeat, in an instant, with Chris Godwin and Mayfield back. Like they both came back in this game, and all of a sudden Tampa Bay looked like a real football team again. It's in an instant. They still haven't obviously hit their stride because both of them have been out for a very large chunk of time. But Tampa Bay is as good as Baker makes them. And when he's healthy, they're fun to watch and competitive. When he's out, there's just not enough players on that team to do anything with. So we'll see what happens going on the rest of the season. And the Cards, who cares?
Fair enough. Man, this unfortunately this might be another who cares, man. Seahawks beat the Vikings 26-0. B
Yeah.
man, what,
Man,
what what's
Here's
going
what I'm
on,
going to
bro?
tell you. Max Brosner should not be allowed to have pads. He should not be allowed to hold a clipboard. He should not be allowed in a stadium.
man.
Jeez.
I watched the preseason games. I know that KOC loved him and thought he has something. He don't got it, man. And he was an undrafted free agent. He does not have it. And here's the crazy part: he still had a better QBR than Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going back to that guy. But goodness gracious, was that painful to watch. And that underhanded, while running backwards throw for a pick six will be, if he ever plays any other game for the rest of his life, the only thing they're going to do is go, this is the same guy who did this in the
Man.
NFL. The Vikings continue to be amongst, I would say, the top five most talent-heavy teams, but they have got a massive chasm at quarterback, and everything else does not matter. It's not McCarthy. Maybe McCarthy has some skill sets that might make him viable, but he's not a juggernaut. He is not a guy who was ready to come in before he had more than a year or two to develop. And Brosner is horrible. That's it.
Seahawks, yeah. Darnold was
When
cooking.
you when you said that he always going to have that highlight, he's going to be like Nathan Peterman. They're always going to show those same bad highlights of him whenever he plays.
Absolutely.
Look,
Absolutely.
I watched this game hoping that Seattle would lose. I thought it couldn't get any worse than JJ McCarthy, and man, was I wrong. Sam Darnold, he's been a turnover machine. He fumbled again in this game, but the Vikings got to the 5 yard line off that fumble. The score was 3-0. It's 4th and 1, and Max Brosner threw that ridiculous pick six, and I just changed the channel because I knew at that point Minnesota had no chance of winning, no chance of covering the spread, no chance of being competitive or whatever. And then at the end of the game, I saw Justin Jefferson had 2 catches for 4 yards. I don't even know how that's possible that he has 2 catches for 4 yards. But like Sam Darnold, he did. They could have won that game with one of us playing quarterback. Sam Darnold was only 14 of 26. He had 2 fumbles, no touchdowns, and Brian Flores was coaching as if he knew all of his weaknesses and just
He
exploited them
did.
to the fullest. He just exploited Sam Darnold. He did not look good at all in this game, and didn't matter. It just
The
did not
Vikings
matter.
the Vikings had every opportunity. This was crazy to say with a 26-0 thing. They had every opportunity to win because Brian Flores was interviewed before, and I was joking with this with Glenn, and he said, "I'm going to blitz that man from the minute he gets off the bus to the minute he gets back on it," and he
And he
did
did.
every bit of that. And he shook Sam Darnold, and he
Yeah.
disrupted the offensive flow. He did everything he could to give the Vikings an opportunity to do anything, and they did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And
And
people
Justin
always say you
Jefferson.
just need. Oh, go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say Justin
No, go ahead.
Jefferson has been great, independent of the quarterback. Every year he's been in the league. No matter how many bad quarterbacks we put in there, and we now found a duo who can make Justin Jefferson look human, and that is Max Prosmer and JJ McCarthy. Fix it.
No, I was going to add that people always say, lean on defense. Defenses get tired. Your offense has to do something, so you can't blame the 26 points on the defense. They're not going to be able to go full speed all game, and I definitely don't blame on the defense of
And field
Minnesota at
position.
all.
We
Yeah,
gave him
not at all.
incredible field position the entire time. We didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so another blowout. Bills Steelers. Bills win 26-7.
Biggest bet on the board. Look, Buffalo was missing both of their starting tackles on the offensive line. They got numerous injuries on defense. They played 5 straight games, including this one, where they had at least 2 turnovers. They can't stop the run. Only scored 3 points in the first half. They were on the road, and Pittsburgh still couldn't win the damn game. There was absolutely no creativity by either team offensively. And in my mind, watching this game, Buffalo played this game thinking all we got to do is get to 20 points and the game is over. Pittsburgh scored the first 7 points on the game, and that was it for them. They were outscored 23-0 at home in the second half, and yet Pittsburgh loses again to a top team in the AFC by 2 touchdowns. And the fans in Pittsburgh finally had enough with their fire Mike Tomlin chants. I've been saying it for 2 years, and people in the media now finally want to talk about it. If I told you Kyle Shanahan ain't won a playoff game in a decade, loses to good teams by 2 touchdowns or more regularly, is a defensive coach, but the defense is bad. Coached 18 seasons, but only won playoff games in 4 of those seasons. And your last 3 playoff wins since 2011 are against AJ McCarron, Alex Smith, and Matt Moore. Everybody would be like, why is this Shanahan fired? But when it's Mike Tomlin, oh, he won a Super Bowl 15 years ago. He's on scholarship. He goes 8-8. Let's bring him back. We don't fire coaches. We're the Steelers. Well, you better fire the coach because if the Titans can tell Mike Vrabel to pick up his stuff and go, if Philadelphia can tell Andy Reid bye. If Bill Belichick can get fired, then Mike Tomlin can get fired too. When I turn on the TV and watch the Steelers, it's like watching them 6 years ago. It's the same team. And then TJ Watt, he had an interview saying he's never seen a team run the same play over and over again and have success. And I'm thinking, you're supposed to be this $150 million stud pass rusher. You had no sacks, no quarterback pressures, no quarterback hits, and no tackles for a loss while going up against backup tackles of Buffalo. So I don't even understand why he's talking. But lastly, look, no NFL team has played more defensive snaps than the Steelers, and no NFL team has played less offensive snaps than the Steelers. If the Steelers don't make a change, I don't know what else I don't know what else. It's time to move on because I'm not even a Pittsburgh fan, and I hate watching that team play.
Every
Go ahead,
coach you
bro.
mentioned leaving, it turned out extremely great for the next team they
It
went to.
did. It's
But
not a bad thing to get fired and
yeah,
go somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not this has an impact on Mike Tomlin is not the problem. Problem is the GM. What is his name? Amar Khan or something like that. Yeah, Omar Khan. If you think about the things that are really deficient, the decision to bring Aaron Rodgers on this team, I said at the beginning of the season that I like Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is a very good, if not better than very good coach. And even he can't survive Aaron Rodgers. I said that at the very beginning of the season, almost exactly the exact words. So there is absolutely no surprise that we are here right now because nobody can survive Aaron Rodgers. He is a cancer, and as far as the team goes, everywhere he goes, he was pointing the finger at. There had an article in there talking about how he was arguing with the wide receivers during the game. He was pointing the fingers. He threw a ball high and outside, out of bounds, and he's looking at the wide receiver like, "Why didn't he catch it?" So, anyways, Mike Tomlin will land on his feet if he gets fired here. I don't think he should. I don't think he's the problem. I do not think that there's another coach who walks in with this roster and this GM and that quarterback and does anything close to what Mike Tomlin's done with it. But if they want to go that route, that's fine because Mike Tomlin, as you mentioned, is probably going to end up someplace real quick and probably in a better situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll be unemployed for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So next game, Raiders Chargers.
You
Chargers
sound like you
win
don't want to talk about it.
31-14. I don't know what there is to talk about. Now I will say, we always rep, man. Like it's never, it's always the squad, you know what it is. But right now, I think what Brian was saying, which is true, is like Raider fans now are just self-deprecating. Like it's bad, man. Everybody knows it. It's 23 in the last 23 seasons, two winning seasons, no playoff wins. It's crazy, and it just continues. That this team is bad, man. I don't know. I just don't know what anybody's doing. So I ain't got nothing good for this, man. I'm gonna do my hogwash early. It goes to Justin Herbert, uh,
Mm.
being a straight punk rock. You gonna scream in the man's ear on some cool, okay? You made and whatever. It was a routine pass. He makes a pass and he's gonna scream in back his ear, get pushed, and then be like, look, I need a call, ref, and then hop up doing a first down. Absolute garbage, bro. That's not. And meanwhile, I was sitting next to Brian. I play it up when we're around people because it's more fun. Announcers talking about he's just an underrated competitor. I was like, the boy ain't underrated to nothing. People are,
Mm.
man. If I'm not gonna say it, but if you know 3 6 Mafia and you get the reference, there's a certain song that they're all over for this guy. So yeah, if you know me, reach out to me later if you don't know the song. But absolutely ridiculous. They're the same Chargers. I mean, they're winning regular season games. It's cool. Let's wait to the playoffs. It's gonna be the same scenario. Raiders. Hey man, I'm a fan, man. But Coop, I'm almost at that stage. I'll put it like this, and I'll leave with this. I'm for sure playing golf on Sunday. 100%. God willing, if all my limbs are working, and I'm definitely there. I'll have the game on my phone or something, but I'm on the greens, and that's about it. What y'all thought?
B?
I mean, I think Glenn said it all. He was sitting right next to me. But yeah, that moment when the announcer said he's an underrated competitor, the look on Glenn's face, he ate a bad batch of pickles or something. Like it was just, he was just like, this is too much. Anyways, yeah, look, Justin Herbert did not have an outstanding game and all that kind of stuff. But I 100% support Glenn in that hogwash because I said it at that moment. I'm like, that is a bunch of Bush League BS. It is. I want to like the guy, and I think he's still talented, and I think he can make the passes. But there's no place in football for what he did there, and I wish they would fine him or make it clear that the league doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah, cool. Give quick thoughts so we can get to the other games. Because we got two more and then we still got the predictions.
Yeah, look, I said on this podcast when Brock Bowers got drafted, Raider fans don't know him, but you're gonna like him because he's good. He had a catch of the year type play as well. He caught that touchdown. I just knew that ball hit the ground. But look, I knew this game was gonna be a blowout because I looked at the point spread. It was 10 points, and these teams always play each other close. Never seen a point spread more than 7 points, and so I just think it's probably a year the Raiders just gonna play this out and wait till next season.
Man, I don't know how many next seasons we got, bro. Broncos Commanders, man, ended up actually being a amazing
best game of the weekend.
Amazing game. Broncos win 27-26. I was sitting next to Brian and I was like, I can't front. Bo Nix is, he's playing a little bit. I thought the Commanders looked really good though to do what they did and stay as close as they did. That was interesting. So, Coop, what you thought on this one?
Look, Denver has trailed in every game they played this season, all 12. This team is a gambler's nightmare because they're an epitome of a team you don't bet on because they have a wide variance in play. You never know what you're getting week to week. The Broncos could go to the Super Bowl, but they can also lose in the first round. The reason why is because the wild card on this team, Bo Nix. Yes, he threw a nice touchdown pass falling to the ground, but then he had an interception to Bobby Wagner, who was lined up in the
Yeah,
same position when he caught the football. He didn't have to move. That type of
yeah,
stuff can't
yeah.
happen.
That's tough.
To
Yep.
me, to me, Washington should have won this game, but when you got to rely on Marcus Mariota to try to make plays for you to win, you're going to lose a majority of those games. And I think he had plays that could have been made, but
He played all
you know,
right,
Washington
man.
fought hard. Washington played hard, but you know those key plays that you need to make to win games that they didn't happen. And you know, I'm like you, Glenn. You know, Denver ain't all that, but they somehow found a way to keep winning these games. What you think of
Regular
Brian?
season, bro. Playoffs are different. B.
Yeah, this was the best game by far, and that the decision to go for two, I absolutely respect it. They didn't need to win this
Yeah,
game. They're not
right,
fighting for a
Yep.
playoff spot. They're
right.
fighting to show the team that they can do things. And you have to show, if you're the coach, you show your team that you have some level of confidence in them by doing this. Win, lose, or draw, right? You show your team you have confidence in them. This is one of those things that can maybe build a little bit of a team function for the future, which is the only time they're going to be good. But this was just fun to watch. I mean, the teams were coming back at each other. They were
It
both
was
throwing
great.
haymakers. There was big play after big play, and these big plays led to touchdowns. Um, these are, the Denver
Yep.
Broncos, I think, are actually a pretty strong team that
Yeah.
can make some noise. Um, but this was not a game that I thought was going to be interesting in any way, shape, or form. It was on because it was the only game that was on. But I know at the end, my eyes were all over the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Mariota, and I can't hate on him. He played all right, man. He made some huge plays. They lost,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Giants Patriots 33-15. Coop, I got it. You were talking about Drake May when they were drafting him, and he's showing up, man. Bro's nice, man.
It's good.
So far. What you thought?
Yeah. Look, I was just interested in this game to be honest with you because I found out Jackson Dart was starting. I just don't think he's very good. I'd rather watch Jameis Winston. But yeah, as you said,
Me
I'm a
too.
Jameis
Drake
is
May
more fun.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Drake May guy. Look, I thought New England got it right by getting rid of Gerard Mayo and bringing in Mike Vrabel, but we have to kind of be honest about New England and the quarterbacks they played. Spencer Rattler, you
That's
know, he's
fair.
only won one game in 15 starts. Geno Smith, Cam Ward plays on the CFL Canadian Football
They
League team.
they lost to
Uh,
us.
they
This is
did,
first game,
they did.
but nah.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dylan Gabriel plays for the Browns. Michael Penix, he hasn't been good. Bryce Young and Andy Dalton, they're up and down. Justin Fields, we know about him. Flacco's okay. Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, and Josh Allen. So they're not actually playing against a murderer's row of quarterbacks, but every win for a team like this is a confidence builder. But I still think if they were to play Buffalo in the playoffs, even though they beat them in regular season, I
Oh
would
yeah.
take Buffalo. That's just me
I hear you.
personally. But what New England is good, they remind me of last year's Washington, where the roster is really not that good, but they have coaching and they have a quarterback who's kind of ascending right now. I don't think he's an
Yeah, well
MVP
said.
like people are trying to make him seem, but
Yeah.
you know, good win for New England. They're winning the games they're supposed to win.
Yeah, well said. B.
Yeah, I disagree. You can only play the teams you get put in front of you. We all say that. Everyone understands that.
Yeah,
But the team, they're playing
Yeah.
well. They're looking like a team. It does build confidence to get these wins. I do think Drake May is making a lot of progress as a quarterback. Playing a murderer's row of quarterbacks doesn't make Drake May better or worse, in my opinion.
right, right.
And I do think that if they were to play, if in the playoffs against the Bills, especially now that I know that it would be in New England, I would take New England. But we'll see how that's going to work this week. We'll talk about it in a second. But they're
Yeah.
playing the Bills in New England this weekend.
There you go. My whole thing was just the passes that Drake May is making, regardless
Yeah,
of
oh
who
yeah,
he's playing against. Like, bro, is
yes,
lacing. We were with when B was in up here some weeks ago. We were watching, and I think they're playing the Saints or something, like you said. Not, these aren't amazing teams, but you still got to make the passes, and he was lacing them.
yeah,
So, bros, you called
yeah.
it, Coop. Here's a go.
It's hard to
What
find
is it?
quarterbacks who can play in bad weather.
Yeah,
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 we're gonna
Playing in
see
New
that
England
now.
is different than
Yeah,
playing
we're
in
gonna see.
Los
right,
Angeles.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna see now because it's
Well,
getting cold,
well,
really
GB,
cold on the East.
real quick, when I always talk about quarterbacks in college, I really don't care about the team's record. I just want to see what they can do and the throws they make because that's what's going to translate to the NFL. Team's record mean absolutely nothing. I mean, you guys know these teams that go
Yeah,
12-1 be having bad quarterbacks in the NFL. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We'll see. I hope he does
definitely.
good.
All right, so we're pretty much at an hour, guys. So let's run it down, man. We're gonna do the
Yeah, we'll do it quick.
predictions, and then we're get up out of here. So Thursday, you have the Dallas Cowboys at Detroit Lions. That's a good matchup. Lions are -3.
Hmm. Brian?
Cowboys.
Yeah,
Cool.
this should be a Detroit spot, but I can't trust them. Two teams going in opposite directions. So I got the Cowboys.
Okay. Two teams going in the same direction. Miami Dolphins and New York Jets. Dolphins are minus 2.5.
The Jets might not be a good team, but they be covering the spread. I've been saying it. I'm going with the team with the Super Bowl winning quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. He run the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens.
That's
I'll
funny.
take the Jets.
Um, I'm gonna take the Dolphins, and that's because I think when it all in a game when you running backs win, and I think Devin Kane is the best running back.
All right. B, put that game on because we should learn from last week. Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are minus 6.
Brian?
Uh, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I, how I feel. I can't do anything with the Steelers this year with Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh man. You know, I'll take Pittsburgh. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Okay. That'll be fun for next week. New Orleans Saints at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers are minus 8.5.
Bucks.
Were they playing the Saints?
Yep.
Yeah, the
In
Oh
Aints.
Tampa
yeah, the
Bay.
Bucks. The Bucks. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bucks. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
another good matchup. Indianapolis Colts at Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts are minus 1.5.
The
No
spread is
matter.
way too close for somebody
That's
that's
a lot.
supposed to be as good as the Colts. I'm gonna take the Colts. I know that I would not be surprised to see the Jags find some way to win this game because the Colts are a little bit struggling of the last couple of weeks. But I'm gonna take who I think the better team is, and the better team is the Colts.
Both teams have the same
No
record.
matter.
Yep.
No matter who the quarterback for the Colts is, the last 19 games they're 3-16 against the spread against Jacksonville. Jacksonville owns them. I'm taking Jacksonville.
Fair enough. Tennessee Titans at Cleveland Browns. You got Cam Ward and Shador. The Browns are minus 3.5.
Yeah, I can't believe people are betting Tennessee on the road against Cleveland. Cam Ward holds the ball way too long. You're going to get sacked 10 times playing the Browns. I got the Browns at
Miles
home.
Garrett. Gee whiz, yeah.
Yeah, this is about the Cleveland defense more than anything
Yep.
else, and
Sure.
the
Yep.
Cleveland defense is way better than the Titans' offense. Enough that they could probably score touchdowns and create the 3.5 point spread by themselves. I'll take Cleveland, and no, that is not an endorsement of Shedeur Sanders.
Man, we know. We
Yeah.
know. We know. Washington Commanders at Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are minus 1.5.
See?
How the hell are the Vikings a favorite in a
That
football
might
game?
be that might be an interesting game,
Because
man.
because JJ's coming back. They said JJ's coming back to start this game.
Oh, so he was so good
I'm
before
gonna
that we
say,
were
yeah,
all of a sudden.
Oh
you
yeah.
didn't
Oh,
you
he
didn't
was
answer the
killing. Yeah,
man's
he's killing
question
it.
at all. You didn't answer the man's question at all.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know what's going on here. This is a pickup. I'm going to take my team just because why the heck not? But I have zero confidence. By the way, fun fact: Carson Wentz is still the highest rated quarterback on the Vikings, and he hasn't played in but
Yeah,
4
what
or
are they
5
doing?
weeks.
Yeah. B?
Mm.
I mean, Coop. Sorry.
Minnesota's in disarray. JJ's coming back. Washington's just playing out the season and need a roster overhaul, but they're saying Jaden Downs is coming back, and I don't understand why. Whether he plays or not, I still got Minnesota.
Okay, good defense. Seattle Seahawks at Atlanta Falcons. The Seahawks are minus 7.
Seattle on the spread and to win the game.
Fair. B.
I'm with you.
See?
Yep. Cincinnati Bengals at Buffalo Bills. Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. The Bills are minus 5.5.
Who you got, B?
Bengals to beat the spread, Buffalo to win. I think it's a 3 point game.
I think Cincinnati's bad defense is going to get exploited this game in Buffalo. I got Buffalo on the spread and Buffalo winning. I
Yep.
think they're going to put up like 35-40.
All right, so because next game, Denver Broncos at Las Vegas Raiders. Broncos are minus 7.5. Because I'm playing golf, Raiders are going to have some kind of defensive touchdown or something. Bo Nix didn't look all that good at home. I think the Raiders can beat the spread. That's about it.
Okay?
Broncos spread and win.
Wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
I think Vegas is down on the Las Vegas Raiders by making that point spread last week 10. So I got Denver on the spread and Denver winning.
Yeah, they should. If they don't, you remember last game I was clowning. There's no way they should only score 10 at home against us. Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers. That's a good matchup.
Ooh,
Packers are minus
this is
six
a
and a
good
half.
game.
Yeah.
I think the Packers are going
Um,
to win this game, but I don't think they're going to win it by 6.5. This is going to be, in my opinion, this should be a really, really good game. I do think the Bears are a little bit of fool's gold, and so I still take the Packers.
Yep.
I
Cool.
think the Bears are going to be too high off of last week's game. I'm going to take Green Bay to cover and Green Bay to win.
All right. Los Angeles Rams at Arizona Cardinals. Rams are -7.5. Get right,
Rams by a
game.
lot.
Yeah, get right, game. Cool.
Uh, Arizona's lost 7 games by 4 points or less, but the problem is Sean McVay has dominated the Cardinals, dominating them. I'm taking LA Rams to cover and win.
Easy. Houston Texans at Kansas City Chiefs. Another good matchup. Chiefs are -3.5 at home.
I'm going to
I
go with the
think people
upset
are,
here. Give me the Texans and that defense.
I can
yeah,
see
I
that.
think a lot of people are going with Houston, but I'm taking Kansas City. I think if Kansas City can beat them and the Chargers, they'll be right back in the mix. I
Oh
just
yeah.
think at home, Houston on the road, winning in KC. I'll take KC -3 on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Philadelphia Eagles at Los Angeles Chargers Monday night. The Eagles are -3.5 or -3, excuse me.
This is a good one. I'm taking the under. I don't think there's gonna be many points scored in this game. As far as who's gonna win, I'm just gonna. Shit, it's hard, man. I'll go with the Chargers. I'll take the Chargers.
I'll take the Chargers as well.
Oh, all right. That's our show. Appreciate you guys, man. We run it down. Last couple segments. Starting with hogwash. I already said what mine is. What do you guys got?
Brian, you go.
I'm going to punt. I'm going to punt. We'll keep it moving.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna say, get Jason Garrett off the air. He is absolutely horrible for NBC. He's terrible. He's my hogwash. Hate listening to him. That's it. I'm not
All
gonna
right.
elaborate.
That's fair. Game ball. Mine is going to go to Max Crosby for pushing Justin Herbert after he's being a complete punk, but also to Brian and the family, man, for the holiday. That was great down there. So that's
Thank you.
we had an absolute great time. Thanks for hosting. It was great. Good to see everybody. To Mom and Sis and Ed and Molly and the family. It was awesome. So what you guys got?
I'm gonna give mine to Joe Burrow. When he was asked in the interview, why is he playing football when he doesn't have to? Why is he doing this when he's still hurt? His response was he's getting paid a ton of money to play a little kid's game. So if he can play, he's going to play. Kawhi Leonard should listen to that. So I'm giving my game ball to him because he doesn't have to play, but he's trying to gut it out besides injury. And even though his team's not going to win a playoff or not going to the playoffs, he's still trying to be out there for his team. So he gets my game ball.
Respect.
Luka could listen to that too. Mine goes to Puka Nacua. That catch was
Crazy.
bananas.
Crazy. Minute to win it. Just thanks everybody for listening. If you rocked with us this long, we sure appreciate you, guys.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. The world has gone crazy, and there's no reason for anybody to pay attention to it right now. So I won't make any comments this week about it.
Yeah. All
Take
right.
a week
There we
off
go.
and ignore it.
There we go. That's our show. The Sports Counterpoints. It's December 2nd, 2025. We will see y'all next week. Later.